Hey, 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 this is Camille, and it is Wednesday, and you know what that means. Dear Camille, let's talk about it. And I'm all about bringing up information about wellness that is greater than just fitness and nutrition, because so many of us get so stuck on the idea of wellness just being, about that fitness and that nutrition, which, of course, it is. It truly is. But, dear Camille, there has to be more, right? And that's why I bring this space to you every single week because it's all about really understanding your wellness needs, your wellness plan. And a lot of us may not even realize what that is or if we even need one. And that's why it's great to have these open conversations. So I'm so grateful that you're here rocking with me. Let's do this. Would love, love, love to know where you are tuned in. Just drop in the chat. If you are live, definitely. If you're listening to the replay, still drop it in because I check everything. I see everything and really, truly just love to see where all of my amazing people are tuning into this wonderful, thriving, winning Wednesday, what I call Wellness Wednesday. So, in today's conversation, we are going to be discussing mental health and wellness. Just as we are wrapping up this mental health month, I say, what a great way for us to finish off with having this conversation in the sense of wellness. Now, I do have to do a disclaimer. I am not a therapist. So, my information when it comes to wellness, I'm going to be using my personal experiences alongside some experiences that I've seen with my clients. And this is what we're going to talk about mainly. But please note that I am not a therapist. And if you are in need of greater information and support for your mental health, please reach out. Reach out. You could even connect with me and I can align you to where you need to go. But the most important thing is that you're reaching out to somebody and speaking up. Because for so many of us, when it comes to mental health, we felt silenced. And some of us still feel silenced. And that's why I was like, you know what? We're ending off this month on this discussion when it comes to wellness because mental health is gold. It is bond. I say your mental health is your true wealth because it is through our mindset. It is what really determines what next steps we're going to do. Our thoughts create our reaction, which then in turn into our action. So it's very important for us to take inventory of our mental health, especially in an era where we are constantly inundated with so much information. I always say to people now, when I was younger, if there was anything that went on in school, it ended at 3:30, and everybody got to go home. We forgot about it, watched some TGIF, went to the weekend, whatever. And then come Monday, there's another day. But now our children are unfortunately do have the social media. So anything that happens at school trickles right on at home into the night. And if we don't even take charge of what even our children are going through, well, society will take over. And the best part for us to even see what's going on with our children or with our significant others or a friend or anybody else, even in our business. What is it that we have to take inventory of? What is it? Does anybody know? Let's throw it in the chat. Taking too long, so I'm going to speak it up. I'm just joking. I just want to make sure that we're mindful of time because this Dear Camille is just a little segment, a little taste of wellness. And what is the key is that you have to be able to. You have all of the keys that you needed in to ever achieve anything that you desire, and it starts within. It starts taking inventory of your own thoughts, which really has a huge impact on your language. So when you actually take inventory, let's go back and take inventory of the language that you speak. It'll really help really navigate what is that feeling that is allowing you to make you feel that you have to say these words, these languages to yourself. It's really taking that note. I always say being an observer of your own thoughts. Now, when it comes to mental health and wellness, we are again in an era where we're constantly inundated with so much information. We're seeing, filters, quick nip and tucks, which I mean, if it's up, whatever makes you happy is what it matters, right? It has to make you happy, not for something else. But we're always getting inundated with so much self-image looks That when we think about wellness, we're thinking like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym for 3 hours and work out for 7 days a week so I can get this summer body by Tuesday. And when we don't receive these results, that's when our limiting beliefs or our mental health may start attacking us. And put in the chat if you know what is the first thing that we should look at when we're coming into a wellness plan, or even if you're going to a gym or any kind of nutrition plan, anything to do with your wellness. Let's see it. Yeah, clarity. We need to have a why. Our why needs to be so burning and so deep. It can't just be for our children. Why? Because I want to be present so I can build lasting relationships and be there on their wedding and the graduations. I want to be able to walk and with ease, still play my carnivals because I'm a carnivalist in my costume, even at 80, right? Without worrying about my mobility. I'm just using these as an example. We need to have that burning desire of the why, because the why is really going to be the driving factor that's going to keep us on course. Because there's going to be many a times where our mindset is going to be challenged during our journey to our goals and to our desires. The challenges of life. As we always say, things happen, right? We cannot completely control everything that happens around us, but we can control how we react to it. And what I mean by that is there's going to be times in our wellness where we are going to be challenged, whether it be in our business, with our relationships, or even with how we're speaking with ourselves. And that's a time where we need to go back into our self-reflection, that self-awareness. A lot of us are living this mundane life, going through the motions and not taking inventory. And then, there's a time where we hit that wall where that burnout feeling happens, or, you lose your gasket and you're wondering, how did I even get to this state in my life? How did we even get here? Well, again, it's that self-awareness and taking inventory, the power of the pause and just reflecting on situations in your life, really resonating with what that feeling is, right? So even when I do my morning routines, and now from one of my friends, Claire, we did a live the other day all about mental health and branding, and she talked about her nighttime routine. And there's power in that, because what we go to sleep with, remember, our brains are constantly going. It never turns off. It doesn't sleep. So if we're ending our night with negative thoughts, watching negative television, or off of a conversation that didn't give peace, well, our brain is still processing that. And that could be the reason why sometimes we're waking up anxious or waking up feeling uneasy. How are you going to sleep? We need to take inventory of our mental health and understand that mental health is greater than depression, anxiety, bipolar, all of the names that we're used to hearing. There's so much more to mental health, like you're burnt out, how you perceive yourself, how you believe in yourself, what you're doing in terms of movement, and is it sufficient to your body? Or are you trying to keep up with the Joneses and put more stress on your body, which in turn causes more inflammation, more. It's very hard for your body to digest when it's high, has a high levels of cortisol hormone in it. So when we're looking at inventory, I truly mental health when it comes to wellness. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you've ever thought about mental health and wellness in the same category? Just a 1. If you've never heard of mental health and wellness in the same category, put a 2. We just love to see what's going on. Also, I'm so glad to see that so many people are seeing that the number 1 is, that mental health. It's because we're talking about it so much now, just like we have this month about mental health. It's about being aware of those triggers that really, within ourselves, and with also acknowledging when other people around us may be going through things. Because so many of us are wearing masks in life. Masks when we go outside, then when we take off that mask, we feel defeated. But does it have to be that way? Or can we really live in our authentic selves, our whole selves, knowing that every day isn't a sunny day in Cincinnati, like I like to say, right? Not every day is going to be that way. And it's okay. And we need to be okay with that through understanding our own emotions and how we reflect and how we navigate through those times where we are being challenged, where our mental health is being challenged. Because it's usually during those challenging times with our mental health is when we say, okay, I'm done. I give up. I'm not doing it. I'm a failure. That's when all those limiting beliefs are coming in. All of those feelings that you never addressed before are coming back into light. And there's where we start getting very negative towards ourselves. You know, our inner me could be our biggest enemy if we don't take inventory and take note of how we are showing up for ourselves. And that's what the whole concept of my business, We Got This, truly was birthed through mental health. For myself, for instance, as again, I'm not a therapist, so I'm going to give my examples. For myself, I was falling through the rabbit hole of anxiety, depression, panic attacks. Why? Well, I was locked in this pandemic for 2 years, just as so many of us were. And I'm a huge extrovert. And being inside and not being able to see my children thrive in schools and seeing all the animosity that people were having amongst each other, not towards me, but just I'm a lover of humans. So when I see so much it was taking I take it on like Mother Teresa. I take it on. And I started to even look in the mirror and started to nitpick me and was just so hard on myself until I stopped and I remembered this feeling. Because I once went through a lot of mental health growing up in my teenage years, where I was put on Paxil, went to so many therapists, and I just stopped for that moment during the pandemic and said, Camille, I know this feeling. Don't ignore it. Do not ignore it. Remember what happened the last time when you ignored it. And that was in my early 20s. Here. Everyone sees me, the smiling, let's go, let's do this. Inside, I was crying. I was deeply crying. And when I started incorporating, building into myself, understanding who I am, not what society, not what my family or friends feel that they know who I am. I went right back to who I am through journaling, through pausing, taking the moment to understand my breath. Does it sound, yeah, it sounds like, oh, that's easy to do. And, or you say, Camille, easy for you to say. Well, I'll tell you something. This practice didn't happen overnight. It didn't. Just as a lot of my mental ups and downs has been something that has been manifested or not building my entire life. But it doesn't mean that it's a part of me. That is me. You know, I say I battle it. Because yes, there's times I'm going to battle it. But I know the weapons that I need. I know the shield that I need to carry to this war. Because I know the feeling. I understand it. I'm aware of it. And I say, and I decide on that day, not today. So that's where these actionable steps come into play. But again, this is through learning, through educating yourself and understanding that wellness is really getting that inventory of your inner self, combining your external with your internal collectively. Us humans are so caught up on the external that we forget about our internal, or we get embarrassed about how we're really feeling, right? So we keep quiet. But how can we be embarrassed on who we are? Remember, there's no competition when you are walking in your authentic self. There's power in your voice, and everybody wants to hear you. Even when your mind says, Camille, be quiet. You're just too anxious. You're this, you're that. Say, you know what? I appreciate you. I love you. I respect you. And that's why I'm going to speak up. There's power even counteracting your own thoughts through your languages, through your own language. So what I want you all to take from this mental health and wellness is know that you have all the keys that you ever wanted in your life. They're all within. Yes, there's times where you feel challenged, but when you do have incorporate a wellness plan, and that's what I do. So as you all know, I am the founder of We Got This Mind and Body, where I encourage your busy women in business to learn to prioritize living a healthier lifestyle through key areas of wellness, which is your mindset. Key. Movement, your metabolism, and of course, that maintenance. Again, it's all about loving the skin that you are in without excessive workouts and fad diets. And we do this so that we can help reduce that feeling of stress and burnt out. Because when you neglect your self care and you don't really have that wellness plan in place, stress comes into play. And when you have excessive stress, it leads to burnout. And so many of us women in business are constantly on the go, especially in our environments. And some of us have intense environments, or we're constantly caring for other people, our situations, our systems. But if we do not have a proper self care, a wellness plan in place, a lot of us may eventually have that overwhelmed feeling and feel like you're unable to cope effectively or show up. And then what happens in turn? It decreases your productivity and may even make you lose a job. And even worse, the physical mental health that it does cause. We need to stop ignoring our own mental health or comparing our mental health to anybody else's. Because when we do that, what we're doing is in time, we are putting a decline in our mental health and our well being. And that's where a lot of the anxious feelings, the depression, it starts to derive from. And what I like to do now is like whenever I start to feel that anxious feelings, say, Camille, you're excited. What did change that feeling? Change that feeling. Well, when I say change the feeling, I'm going to take that back. You need to understand the feeling in order to redirect the feeling, I should say rather. Because the same feeling I get when I'm anxious is the same feeling I get when I'm excited. When I say anxious, I mean that anxiety, anxious, and excited, like I'm having the best time of my life. So when I get these anxious moments, I practice my breath. I understand, say, Camille, this is just a feeling. This is just a feeling. This is a feeling that you have. Let's work through it. Be in your pause. You're aware of it. What is this things that are triggering this anxious, excited feeling? And it's great when we take inventory of our mental health because that's how we get that true work-life balance. When we have that wellness plan in place, we start to program ourselves into having new habits. And when we have the new habits where we are putting it into our routine, where we're adding ourselves to the to-do list, where we're not just constantly working or taking care of other people and neglecting our personal relationships and hobbies, but we're actually doing them and it's bringing us joy and fulfillment, we're going to yearn for it more. And when we yearn for it more, we're able to have that better, steady balance because of that clarity and that why. Right? Because a lot of us, when we don't have that balance, that imbalance, it leads to so much sense of emptiness, stress, or you feel like you're going fast nowhere, going somewhere fast nowhere. I don't know the same, but you know what I mean. And there's so many strained relationships because, you have that loss of motivation and the passion for work or even being around people. For me, my trigger was whenever I felt away, I would just go and sleep my life away. But what benefit was I doing to myself sleeping my feelings away? Were they really going away though? No, because remember, as I said, the brain never sleeps. I was making my physical feeling go away, but the internal, it was still there until I took my own inventory. And when we don't take that inventory, we are limiting our own growth and development. And it's very crucial for our long-term success and satisfaction in everything that we do. So we need to start prioritizing our own growth within ourselves. Because there's a lot of times if we are not even taking inventory of ourselves, we could be missing opportunities for learning, for skills, for networking, just because you're not showing up in your optimal, unique way. And it does come through. Energy does flow. Even when you feel like as if you're on, a lot of people can smell through that. And I know a lot of us boss ladies, we're leaders, right? We are action takers, money makers, money shakers, I should say rather. And sometimes it feels like when we're in this leadership position, we don't have the time for ourselves. This is where we put a timer on our phone, an alarm every hour. Put a note on there for alarm to go off and have a self-reflection moment. Take a minute to take in your breaths, that self-awareness moment. Once an hour, once every 2 hours a day. Because watch as you do it a day, your personal growth will develop, not only within yourself, but even within your leadership skills. Because if we do not have our eggs or our ducks in a row, and we feel that we're in a leadership role, again, we can be affecting and hindering the way that we lead our teams because of how we're showing up to the table. right? We need to ensure that we are good on the inside first and be able to be that leader that we know that we are capable of doing. Because at the end of the day, mental health, wellness, if it's not in place, it has to have an overall negative impact on your business performance. And I don't know about you, but I'm not in the business to just be here for fluff. I want to see that performance, the success, the glory that I know is here because I have the keys. But if I neglect my mental health, my wellness, I'm not even going to know if I'm coming or going. And it can have a ripple effect on my entire business plan. Unaddressed mental health is an issue that can result in decreased, feeling of your business. It can also reduce your passion or even miss out on opportunities that are right in front of you. So we need to make sure that when we are talking about wellness, that we are 100% incorporating that mental health piece. It's so important than just the physical. Your clarity, your why, that burning desire. What are the words that you're saying to yourself right now? What are the words? Write it down. I do practices and activities with my clients to really get down into our deeper feelings. We may have even dormant feelings of ourselves that we're not even realizing that we're holding, that we're still using this ammo against ourselves in certain situations. So when we do these activities, we truly are taking inventory of everything. So I always say the fitness is definitely there in wellness, but it's on step, 3, 4, or 5. We got to get into that inventory of that mindset before so we can better align it to your goals. So I know we're rocking up to our hour. I love to have some feedback in the comments. Would love to hear one takeaway that you've gotten from here. What is something that you're going to do for yourself, for your wellness and your mental health? I know one. You could connect with me today. I'm going to be leaving my Calendly link and let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation on what your wellness plan looks for you and your lifestyle, for your mental health, for your wellness and in your overall wellness, in your business, in your body movements, and your metabolism. It all goes hand in hand. But it takes one thing: action. You and action. You have to take the action. All we can do is provide the tools, the information, but it's up to you to take the action that you need to take to reveal the keys that have always been there. They're really always there. And again, if you are going through, or anyone going through something that is even greater, that need that support, reach out. You are loved. You are wanted. You are so important in this world. And sometimes those feelings may feel like as if you're not, but I'm here today to tell you, I don't need to know you personally to know that you are worth it. Your value is so strong because you were chosen out of all of the sperms that could have hit that egg. It was yours, the two that combined that made you. That's a beauty. That is a blessing and a gift. So we celebrate every gift, every day as the present, because it truly is a gift. You are a gift to us. And now it's time for you to enlighten and enhance your beauty within. So connect with me today. Let's talk about it. I do run my 90 Days of Love in the Skin That You Are In program, but let's get talking. Let's get doing it. Connect with me today. It's another week of Wellness Wednesdays. If you're rocking on me on the replays, if you see this video on one of my videos for my programs, again, you are so worth it and you got this because you are here today. So, dear Camille, mental health and wellness, let's talk about it. Until next week, you got this, we got this. Now let's go. Have a great one, all. Can I get some buys? Actually, let's see who stayed here the longest. Let's see some hearts. I want to see some hearts. Even in the replays, hearts. Have a great one, all.